Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blogs. So let's get to it. All right, you guys, this hair is big today. It is so funny because I love it, but then it's also like I could be a little self-conscious because it feels so big and Shaka Khan-ish. But it's so different. So it is fun, you guys. It's definitely, you really got to be like, fuck it, I'm going out with big hair. Anyway, you guys, I'm on my lunch break and only got about 45 minutes left. So let's get to it. First story, you guys, it was the talk of everything. Sunday night, we saw the interview between Oprah Winfrey and Prince Harry and the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, or formerly the Duchess of Sussex. We saw their interview that they conducted in California, somewhere around, I'm assuming, Santa Barbara, that area. We know that Oprah Winfrey has a home there. We know that they also have a home there. Neither of them were in their own home. They were in a friend's home who had a very nice backyard with a deck and a gazebo and all of this. Yes, it was the interview that was heard around the world, literally, as the Prince and the Duchess went on to expose, if you will, what is going on with the firm. And the firm would be the royal family, along with the staff, all there in, what's the name of the place, y'all? Don't be mad at me, child. Like, the memory is fucked up today. Okay, but over there with the castle and all of that, they went on to expose them. Now, first and foremost, before we even start talking about this, I'm not really sure why people are so surprised these things were going on within the royal family. Just because racism is real, classism is real. We have colonizers over there just like everywhere else. And really, Princess Diana did tell us all these things a while ago. I guess maybe we thought that everybody had forward progress and, people had become educated and grew out of all of this backwards ass thinking. But no, racism is and will continue to be alive. Classism is and will continue to be alive. And it's too bad that she had to find out the hard way. I think we all did have little hearts in our eyes, much like the emoji, because we all love a good love story. We all love a princess. I mean, this is a real princess getting married, or she wasn't a princess, but you guys know what I'm saying. Black girl, or you can say mixed race girl. She definitely was different than what the royal family was used to. You guys, this funny side note, I saw a little thing from Nickelodeon some years ago when Meghan Markle was a young girl. She couldn't have been more than 13 years old. And she was doing a little segment on the fact that there was a commercial that singled out women as the people that clean the home. I don't really remember what the product was, but in this commercial, it said women are using this product, all the time. And she had a problem with that. So she reached out to the commercial folks and she said that it should say people and not just women, because women aren't the only ones that clean the home. And when I saw that clip, I was amazed at how much more she looked more black then than she does now. I think that when we're younger, because I feel like I've also gotten lighter as I've gotten older because I'm not in the sun as much and, all of that. But she totally looked more because today, I honestly, now that I look at her, I can tell that she's mixed race. However, when she first came out on the scene, I was like, gosh, she's mixed. She's a very, very fair girl, but on that commercial, when that little girl, when she was a little girl, it was no way you couldn't tell. Her hair was very coarse and, she definitely looked like a mixed race child. I mean, I guess she does still look mixed race, but she's a lot fairer. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I just thought I'd throw that little tidbit in there, see if you guys have seen that as well. But it just was not really surprising to me, that the things that they said was really happening. Now, even though it wasn't surprising, it is very still disappointing to know that the royal family and some people within the royal family, because I don't know if I think that it's everybody. You know, I always give the queen a hard time, but listening to that interview, it was very clear that both Meghan and Harry have extreme love for the queen, and that it doesn't seem like the queen is really the issue. The queen has always shown love to her grandson and Meghan. It seems like things might be out of the control of the queen. And, you know, we know that the royal family doesn't really have any power. And at the end of the day, they are actually employees. The taxpayers pay for them to, you know, to continue on. But of course, it's tradition within that country to have the queen and the royal family and the such. So I kind of had got the impression that the queen was not necessarily the issue, okay, without them saying that. And then I really got more of the impression that it would be his father that was having the issues. And then, of course, his brother's wife, and other people within the palace. So that was the impression that I had gotten. Of course, it was disappointing to hear that they would ask her, or they would actually talk to Harry about the color of the baby's skin. But again, like, it's ignorant really for them to think. I mean, I guess it could be a very small chance that the baby could have come out darker. All right, that does happen. However, most of the times, chances are, because Meghan is so fair and because Prince Harry, of course, is white, that child was going to look very fair. Okay, but I guess they still was a little concerned that somewhere along the lines, the genes could get mixed up, and, you know, we can get one that became more dominant. You know, we black, we like to rise to the top, baby. It could have been, but the fact that they were able to fix their mouth because what do you want him to do at this point? What can he do about the color of his child's skin? Okay? We cannot make any changes to this child. The child has been created. It is living in her belly, and whatever he comes out as is what the fuck is gonna be. So the whole thing is like how offensive it would be for you to even have this conversation with me, because really, honestly, what do you want me to do about this? And I feel like them even bringing that up to Harry, knowing that there's nothing that anybody can do and shouldn't even want to do. I mean, this is the woman that he's in love with. He's having a baby with it. Like, you shouldn't even care. Well, I guess the royal family was like, we ain't married her. That's you married her. Okay, so now what is she going to bring up in here? Some little dark child running around in the hallways? Like, we can't have that. She talked about all kind of things, you know, how it's been switched around to make her look like she was the villain, when really it was them there. She talked about her suicidal thoughts. This part was very discouraging, very upsetting to hear that she actually did reach out because she was having suicidal thoughts, and she was extremely depressed. And while they told her they understand what she's, why she would be depressed, all the pressure that's been put upon them, that they could not help because it wouldn't look good for the family. All right. And at this point, I don't even know why they're still trying to protect the family in such a way. It's almost like they're trying to hold on to the traditions of the old school and then, not really trying to embrace what is new, what is happening now. I mean, the royal family has its own share of scandal, minus Harry and Meghan. Okay, there are other things that's going on. The guy, Prince, what's his name? Edward or whatever, that was wrapped up with old boy out here who killed himself, the billionaire, wondering if he was having sex with minors and all of this. There's a sex scandal there. There's other scandals. You hear whisperings of Prince William having affairs. There's all kind of things. And even Prince Charles has had his affairs. It was very well documented. He ended up marrying his hoe. I shouldn't call her a hoe. But, he ended up marrying this woman that, he was in love with her fine. He was forced to marry Diana. That's not who he wanted to be with. He finally got the love of his life. He's went on, they've had to deal with that scandal and try to make people accept Camilla and all of this, so it's like, this is just something else that has happened in the family, and why is it that it's such a big deal? So really, honestly, those people ran them out of the country. And I guess people were very upset that they would do this, and not only do this, but then expose all of these things. But no one seems to want to admit to the extreme and terrible pressure that the family, had put on them. And then for them to not be supportive of them in any kind of way when they initially left. I mean, I know at this point, everybody was just like, fuck it, y'all on your own. But when they first left, they were provided no security, and, all of this is, I mean, it was almost just sort of like it was a big fuck you to you guys. You doing this to us. So now we are just completely washing our hands of you, and we are done. So yeah, people are upset that she came out and told. It's interesting that people are more upset with her than with Harry. When honestly, I believe that if Harry did not want her to speak out like this, then she probably would not have. All right. I believe that they were definitely on one accord when they did do this interview. I believe that Harry was itching to get the fuck up out of there, and he needed something to make it happen. And in walks Meghan Markle. All right. Turns out that he falls in love with her, has a baby. He's ready to get the fuck on. I don't know why everybody is just blaming Meghan. Harry also did sit right next to her and confirm the stories and all. So it's not just on her, but it's really not on anybody. We just telling you what happened. We just telling you what happened. All right, you take that however which way you want to. We saw Oprah Winfrey, when I saw her do that interview, it reminded me of why everyone has such admiration for Oprah. She is an excellent interviewer. Like, she just knows what to ask. She knows how to have reactions. She knows how to give people their space so that they can really get their thought out. She doesn't cut them off. She doesn't, it's always a build-up. Like, I was just like, I want to be like Oprah one day. All right. She is amazing at what she does. And that was the reason why also that interview went so well. That was the reason why people were able to really feel, empathize, sympathize with Meghan and Harry. And I was fine with it. But, I wasn't surprised. I was disappointed. It was more like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's confirmation. It's still going. Okay. Yeah, people were upset, though. Piers Morgan, for one. He's always been an asshole. I didn't really know Piers Morgan's background, but I saw a video today that shows he actually had a background in like tabloid news before he became Piers Morgan. I guess he was known in that field, in that area, but we know him more as a news person on CNN. He was on CNN at one time, and then he got his own show, and as he became like larger and larger, as his profile grew bigger and bigger, he started to, I feel like, kind of bring back in that tabloidy side of himself and become confrontational with celebrities, people he were interviewing. He became a little bit more polarizing. It's been very clear that Piers Morgan has had a problem with Meghan and Harry for a long time. People didn't pay it that much attention. It was noted that this was a problem, but we didn't really know the extent of it until this interview came along. He definitely let his slip hang. He definitely got into his feelings. He rode Meghan Markle to the ground. He just continued to talk about her and blast her, and he had a problem with her, and if he could have said fuck you bitch, he would have, but you can't do that on Good Morning Britain. So he just continued to ride that girl after the interview came out, and it was just sort of to the point where everyone was like, okay, yes, we get it, you don't like her, you're upset that she did the interview, fine. But he couldn't let it go. it finally came out. People did go back into the archives because, honey, you know, social media, honey, once we get on a job and we're going to try to expose you, we going to do it. All right. So, folks got out there, went back to an interview that he did on some talk show, in Britain, back in 2018, when he actually talked about he and Meghan Markle had gone on a date. This is when shit gets personal. He had gone on a date with her. They had a good time, from what he said. You know, it was a nice date. And when they finished, he put her in a taxi, you know, and he was imagining that he was letting her go on back home so she can reminisce on the good times that she had. Shout out to Mary J. And instead, honey, she told the cabbie to take her on over to Harry's. And she met him, well, take him to some party where she met Harry. They went on a date the next day, and the rest is history. Okay, so now it seems that Piers Morgan is his panties is in a fucking bunch because he's butthurt about the fact that, you know, she gave him the old slip. You know, he never heard anything back from her. She ghosted his ass, and maybe he's had that, you know, he's had some sort of feeling about it all these years, and that might be the reason why he's also rode her so immensely. It came to a head, of course, when he was on his show, Good Morning Britain, and his co-host very calmly blasted him for going off on Meghan and basically calling him a racist. Piers Morgan could not take the heat and eventually was like, I'm not doing this, I'm leaving. And he walked off the set and then was considered to have quit the show. I almost feel like he was fired and they just let him do whatever, you know. Sometimes these shows will just let you say that you quit when everybody know good and damn well that they was fired, and the show is just like, whatever, say whatever the fuck you want, you just ain't here no more. He's just a stupid ass. He didn't believe what she said. And I mean, that's your prerogative. You don't have to believe what she said, but for him to keep continuing to go on and on, it was just too much. People are supportive of Piers and others aren't. One that is Sharon Osbourne. On her show, The Talk, she actually came out and said that she does support him. She doesn't believe that he's racist, but people believe that he's racist, and because she's a friend of his and she's supportive of him, then that must mean that she's racist too. She's gotten upset about it. I was just like, girl, you need to stay out of this. There's certain things that people just need to not have an opinion on sometimes. And race these days, if you ain't on the right side of it, it could be detrimental. So, you know, she's on the show and she's doubling down on her feelings about Piers Morgan and feeling like he's not a racist, and she doesn't believe that she is, you know, in the 60 however many years that she's been alive, you know, when has she been racist? And then she says to Cheryl Underwood, you know, you tell me what I've done to make you think that I'm a racist, and don't you start crying. And I was just like, okay, all right. You know, so Cheryl Underwood goes on to explain to her that even though he did not say racist terms, it's the implication of racism because, one, he's just blaming Meghan. He's not even blaming Harry as a unit. They are a unit when they did this interview. And she's very well aware that you don't have to say racist things to still be racist. So, you know, Cheryl is trying to explain to her, she was like, I don't want to get back into a back and forth with you because I don't want, you know, as a friend, you're a friend of mine, and I don't want people to say that I'm saying that you're a racist. But, you know, Sharon was just like, well, that's already happened. But it's like, no, you did that to yourself. Cheryl didn't do anything. Cheryl's just explaining to you because you asked her a question. And so that is why she did that. I don't know if I feel like Sharon Osbourne is a racist, but you can definitely be racially insensitive. You can definitely be racially ignorant. And there's just a very fine line between being a racist and being racially ignorant and racially insensitive. So you choose what side of that line that you want to be on. You know, when she was saying, educate me. You know, black people are fucking tired of having to educate every damn body all the time. Like, fuck, we just told you guys with Black Lives Matter that we tired of telling you. We've been saying this shit for 50, 60, 70 fucking years. Like, how much more do you want somebody to be explaining to you that you are fucking racist? Or explaining to you what racism is? Ain't nobody got time for that. So even though I do like Sharon Osbourne, I just hate that she even got herself involved in this, because you could really potentially end your career. We see it happen all the time. Maybe she's tired of being on. I know Ozzy is sickly and all of that. Maybe it's time for her to go. I mean, I don't want to see the woman go, but I'm just saying, like, you just have to step gingerly. I've talked about this really way too long because I'm on my lunch break, y'all. So that's pretty much it. She did the interview. The interview was very shocking for some. It did not look good for the royal family. I guess they're trying to scramble to try to make, themselves look better. At the end of the day, it don't even really matter. Harry and Meghan are rich. She works, actress. She's had her own money. Prince Harry has his funds from his mother's, that his mom has left him. That's what he's using to make sure that they are protected. And they're going to do fine. They're going to get deals and they'll be fine, you guys. But it's just too bad that, we all just couldn't get along. Shout out to Rodney King. So that's it. I need to move on. I don't really have many subjects today. Y'all let me know what you thought about the interview. Okay, you guys, so you wanted me to do a review on Coming to America. I'm not doing a review because, it's not nothing to review. I'll tell you what I thought about the movie. I thought it was funny, First of all, I was drunk. We watched it with my book club, Roxy Reed's book club. Y'all, listen, you missing out. Child, y'all should join. This month we reading Life After Death by Sister Soldier. And when I tell you that is some bullshit, I'm telling you, I don't even like to be smirchified. Shout out to Don King. I don't like to talk about people's other writing because we are very sensitive about our things. And even though somebody else might not get your creative process when you put it down on paper, okay, it means something to you. So I don't like to down people's work. Because I'm sure it's important to her, but I'm telling you guys, it is, I'll just say that I don't get what the process was. I don't get the message. I don't get what we trying to do. I've just really tried to look at it from Sister Soldier's standpoint, and it is, considering The Coldest Winter, which did come out 20-something years ago, 30 years ago, whatever you want to say. Considering that, I always kind of felt like The Coldest Winter was a bit of a fluke. It was just, she lucked up on it. It was just came at the right time, said the right things. She's talented. She can write, but she knows how to formulate a story and things like that. So, that's what came out of Coldest Winter Ever. But this one, you guys, it has so much potential. I'm giving y'all too much. If you want to hear more about that, y'all join the Roxy Reed's book club. Let me get off of that. But anyway, we watched it on our movie night. We have a movie night every month. So I was drinking. I hadn't really eaten that day. So it's much funnier if you would drink when you watch it. So maybe if y'all didn't really enjoy the movie, you need to go back and drink when you watch it. You ain't got to get fucked up. All you got to do is just do a little bit, just enough to give you the giggles, and then really everything turns funny. But I thought they did a good job for what it's worth. I did not think that it was going to be as good as Coming to America because Coming to America is a classic, and you can't top something like that. All right. But for what it's worth, it coming out during pandemic, they basically had to film it in a studio at Tyler Perry Studios. They were able to get the old cast pretty much together. We had Eddie Murphy, we had Sherry Hadley, we had Arsenio Hall, we had James Earl Jones, we had Leslie Jones, we had even Garcelle Beauvais, we had the guy who sang She's Your Queen to Be, we had Louis Armstrong, not Armstrong, y'all, Anderson. We had pretty much the whole cast with the exception of the mother. I believe she passed already. But we had them. We had some new additions, Rotimi. We had Wesley Snipes, who was fucking hilarious. If you guys have not seen Dolomite, you really need to make that a part of your weekend viewing. Funny ass shit. He was hilarious in Dolomite. Who would have ever thought that Wesley Snipes had like that type of comedic timing? but he was super hilarious in Dolomite, and then that was probably why he was able to get the job in Coming to America. We had Tracy Morgan, we had, so we had a lot of people. We even had Eddie Murphy's daughter in it. She played the middle daughter. Vanessa Bell Calloway was back as the barking princess to be. And so it was, I just love the fact that they were able to bring all these people back, that everybody was on board for whatever part that they was going to have, they were there. Okay. The costuming was beautiful. That was enough to make me just be like, oh, I love it. Ruth Carter was the one who did the costuming for this movie. And it had some corny parts, but I'm telling you, it was fine for what they were trying to do. All right. This didn't come out in the movie theaters. This is on Amazon. The budget, I'm sure the budget was there but the budget is also spent on all these big ass name people you got in this movie, namely Eddie Murphy, who I'm sure made a big, big penny off of that. A nice coin, honey, a nice coin. Yeah, it was fine, you guys. It was fine. I think you had to go into it with the right mindset, though. If you thought that it was going to top the first one, follow-ups never beat the big, big hit. All right. So, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. I laughed. I can't even tell you how the shit ended. I mean, spoiler, but, I do remember that they got, married, but I don't really remember what happened at the end. Cause by that time I was talking and shit I was talking and honey, I was drinking and singing and doing the most, but it was good. So I mean I had no problem with it. I got a lot of people who got in my comments and said that it wasn't all that good to them, and I mean that's fine. But yeah, you just had to get you a drink, go on and check it out next time, and y'all let me know what you think then. All right, you guys, so the next versus battle, somebody got into my comments and said that it was going to be with Jasmine Sullivan and Fantasia. And I was like, is that really happening? I went on the Versus Instagram. I didn't see anything about it. I did Google it, and then I saw something about a live concert and tickets or something. I was like, I don't really know what this is. I'm not sure if that is a happening or if that's something that people just want, or if they're if it's just kind of floating in the air, or if it's really a live concert which I'm sure Versus could definitely parlay this into a concert series. But I mean, we're still in COVID. They haven't really opened up stadiums and shit for us to be going to. I mean, I guess you could go to amphitheater if you're outside, but they still haven't even opened up that. So I don't know. And Fantasia's pregnant. So I don't know what that is. So whoever left that in my comments, you guys maybe can just let me know, like, is that happening? I just tried to check it. I did see that there is a versus battle coming up on March 20th, and that's going to be between Ghostface Killah and Raekwon, which I have absolutely no interest in. Those are both two rappers that I don't listen, but I'm sure the diehard fans will love that battle. So that is coming up on March 20th between the two of them. So if you guys are fans as well, then you could watch that. Interesting story. Versus, the platform was sold to Triller, which is the Triller Network, which is the parent company to the app of the same name, Triller. You guys know Triller was like kind of the original TikTok, and then TikTok just blew up and took over. So Triller did buy the platform from Swizz Beatz and Timbaland, and they did not let us know what the financial terms were, but we did find out that Timbaland and Swizz Beatz are both now shareholders in the company. All the people that also performed on the Versus battles, they will also have some sort of share in Triller. And they're hoping that Timbaland and Swizz Beatz will be able to, I guess, take Triller Network to the next level. The Versus platform can go so many ways. And for Timbaland and Swizz Beatz to not only blow it up during this pandemic time, but then also go on and sell it. So, yeah, I mean, they don't own it 100% any longer, but now they can kind of use Triller's money and not just theirs, and they can do all this. I mean, it was smart. It was very, very smart. The Triller executive chairman and co-owner, Bobby Sarnevich, I don't know what the man's last name is. It might be Russian or something. Anyway, he said in a statement, quote, "We view this acquisition as more of a partnership than an acquisition, as Swizz, Timbaland, and the other 43 artists who are all becoming shareholders and partners in the Triller Verzuz from this day forward become our voice," end quote. So that's good, because they've had some very good artists that's been on the Verzuz battles. And yeah, I think it's a win-win for everybody. I know Triller is trying to find out a way where they can really, really, truly compete with TikTok. And even though they have a very long way to go, because TikTok, like I said, just blew up, maybe with Swizz's and Timbaland's input, and along with those other 43 artists, maybe there's some hope there. So yeah, that's what's happening there. Y'all let me know about Fantasia and Jasmine, though. Is that really happening? All right, you guys. So this is a funny little story that Sky Santana wants me to talk about. The UHaulGirls here in Atlanta. So you guys know that it was NBA All-Star Weekend this past weekend, and it was a very much more toned down All-Star Weekend, at least when you're watching it from the TV perspective. They gave it a more of an abbreviated, it was more abbreviated. So the events that usually happen all weekend, it kind of was all put together on Sunday. So the skills contest, the 3-point contest, the slam dunk contest, all that happened on Sunday. Actually, the slam dunk contest was during halftime of the All-Star game. But so it was much more toned down. Of course, they were trying to keep people out of Atlanta, which is just I mean, really, did you really think, NBA, that you were going to be able to tell these people not to come to Atlanta, which was already open? We haven't ever really been closed. People already was still coming here just to party because they knew that the clubs and stuff was still going. And then you have this, and then so it's sort of like you irresponsibly hold a game that you know is going to attract all these people, and then you be mad at them for trying to take advantage and throwing parties and shit. They said that the NBA sent out more than 200 cease and desists to stop people from using the logo, the NBA All-Star logo, for their flyers and posters for their parties and all that. Some parties were canceled, like Bobby Shmurda and 50 Cent had a concert, had a party that was scheduled to be at the compound. They canceled that before it even started. Did you guys see the release statement where they were like, we're not having it? It was so like not written well. I was like, who wrote this? And then some did go on, like Gucci and 2 Chainz. They both had a concert together. It was outdoors, and maybe that's why that went on. And then there were many other parties that were scattered all over Atlanta, Decatur, Midtown, Uptown, Downtown, all over. But what do you do when you ain't been able to, get inside any of these parties? You weren't able to get any advance tickets. You already know that you're not going to be able to get in. You ain't really trying to stand in line all this time and get molded when you get up there, and they be like, no, you ain't coming in for whatever reason. I've seen bodyguards at the door tell people flat out, you not cute enough. I'm telling you, they ain't said that to me, bitch. But I was like, that shit is the most humiliating, like, fuck you. Anyway, what do you do when you ain't able to get into these said parties? Well, bitch, you be like these 6, I think it was like 5 or 6 IG models who went and rented a U-Haul van. And bitch, they turned that into their own damn party. I said, honey, ain't nothing like some fucking ingenuity. I love when a bitch put their minds together and they come up with something genius like this. I mean, shit, we see on YouTube people be converting Sprinter vans and turning them into homes and traveling all over the world. So, bitch, why we can't do it at All-Star Weekend? Now, of course, a U-Haul van is not the same as, converting vans to living spaces. This U-Haul van ain't got nowhere to sit in the back. It's just an open space. It's for cargo. But, honey, you can sure turn that shit into something. And, honey, when you go on Instagram and you Google about the UHaulGirls in Atlanta, honey, they was turned the fuck up in that van. Child, they was all done up. I'm talking about cute girls. They was all fine and got their clothes on. And honey, I guess at one point they even had invited some people in. It was guys in there. They was singing. They was drinking. I mean, they was rocking that damn van. And I was like, I'm not mad. I am not mad. Okay? Because baby, the party is where you at sometimes. You ain't even got to be some damn where. Sometimes I'm the fucking party. I'm the one that brings the party to the party. Ain't nobody, honey, you can ask any of my friends, they be like, Roxanne gonna get on that dance floor. Now, Roxanne is definitely gonna do it, all right? Even when people are not dancing, I will do so if I'm, if I'm led. So, I'm not mad at the girls and all of that. So, honey, they was having their ass such a good-ass time in that damn van that people were recording them, people were trying to get in, and then the police ended up pulling them over and giving them a ticket. Like, I hope y'all wasn't fucking smoking no weed in there or anything. I'm not sure if they was drinking or what. I mean, it looks like they was drinking when you see the videos, but yeah, girl, I just got a very good kiki. I got a good ass giggle out of that because I was like, man, I'll tell you, I love black girls. I love us when we just be like, fuck it. We get in the damn van and we about to make it happen. I'm not mad. I am not mad. I almost gonna give them the fist pump of righteousness, but that's just, we like to reserve that for, shit that's really making a difference. But I mean, I guess this made a difference too, because honey, it made it on social media. Folks definitely know about it. But yeah, that was a cute little story, honey. More power to the girls. You guys, so it seems that Matthew Knowles was on a YouTube show called Leah's Lemonade, and he was being interviewed about, certain things. I mean, why do we want to talk to Matthew Knowles other than most of the time? Because people want to know, I guess, more about his business acumen sometimes, but mostly because of his ties with Destiny Child. He is Beyonce's father. If you can't get to Beyonce, and you can't get to Solange, and you can't get to Tina, then I guess you try to get to Matthew. He was on there, and she was asking him questions, and she brought up the similarities between Chloe Bailey and Beyonce, and he got very offended by that. Unnaturally, he got super offended by it, as if she had said, she had compared Beyonce to, okay, first of all, she compared Chloe Bailey to a younger Beyonce, not the Beyonce that we know today, but when Beyonce was her age and trying to get bigger and bigger and, become who she is now. I didn't think that it was a far off comparison, considering most of the times when we hear Chloe Bailey open her mouth, immediately we think of Beyonce. Beyonce probably thinks of Beyonce when she thinks of Chloe Bailey because she was a mentor to them. She signed them, I believe, and she was working with them, and she definitely has a lot of influence on their direction when it came to musicality and all of this. So why are you feeling like this? So he was like, I know you're not. Are you really sitting up here and trying to say that Chloe Bailey, that young lady is anything like Beyonce? He was really upset. And she said, well, they said that Chloe Bailey has maybe even been tagged to star as Beyonce if a biopic is done. And he was like, oh, okay, well, if you're talking about a movie, he's like, but not talent-wise. Okay. But again, Beyonce, the extreme talent that she is today, she's always had the talent, but it wasn't what it was today back when she first started, when she was 20-something like Chloe Bailey is. So I don't really know why Matthew was upset about that or offended. I don't even think Beyonce would have been offended. I guess probably Chloe is tired of the Beyonce comparisons. Maybe she would rather be known as her own entity, and as she continues on, she probably will. But these girls did model themselves after Beyonce, like many other artists has as well. So Matthew, just. All right, you guys, and then lastly in Quickies, congratulations are in order to Cardi B. Her Bodak Yellow has gone diamond. I was like, well, very, very good. That song definitely was the hit when that shit came out. When I heard Denzel Washington singing it on an interview, saying like, oh yeah, I know that song, and he actually knew the words, I was like, oh yeah, she's made it. I mean, she's made it. So now it's gone diamond, which means that it has done 10 million copies was sold of Bodak Yellow. So that is a big achievement. But Cardi B continues to achieve. She's done very well. Her career is still going up. So good for her. And then lastly, you guys, I kind of hate ending this on a negative note, but Khloe Kardashian's face, I really want somebody to explain to me. Listen, I'm not against plastic surgery. People can do what they want if they are unhappy with the things that go on in their face. And let's just admit it, that Khloe Kardashian, when she first came on the scene, she she just wasn't all right. So y'all, we already know what her face looked like. So a few little tweaks here and there, I was fine with it. I actually thought there was at one point her face was very pretty with the changes that she had made, but she has definitely gone too far. And you hear about people really getting addicted to plastic surgery, or there may be some mistakes that was made in last surgery, so they try to correct the mistakes and it just gets worse, and then you turn out to have like a Little Kim situation where they just continue to do so much of their face that it almost looks like clown-like. Well, that's where Khloe Kardashian is. At some point, you just have to stop. Her face, she almost kind of has a Whoville. Her face, her nose is so small for the rest of her big face. It doesn't match at all, but it also has like a kind of, it goes up, and her lips are real big, and then this is real small, and then it looks like they still contour her face, or her cheeks look, it is awful. And I was almost embarrassed for her when I was watching a video of some product that she's pushing right now, and I was like, girl. That's when you go too far with plastic surgery. When you just be, when everybody look at, I don't know who has told Khloe that was cute, but it ain't. It's unfortunate. She really needs to stop though. Have you guys seen her nose and her face? Ooh. But we're going to end it on something positive. So what can we say? I do still like Khloe. She is still my favorite of the three Kardashian sisters, Kim, Kourtney, and Khloe. She still remains my favorite, but that's all relative to the other two. I don't really, it ain't like I just love them to death, but if I was going to say who I like the best, it would be Khloe. So I guess that's my nice thing to say. But y'all, have y'all seen her face? What the fuck is going on there? I know you guys want to talk about the stimmy and all that. That's going to be in the Let's Talk About It video that comes up on tomorrow. All right, so y'all stay tuned for that. Anyway, we do this every single week. So make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you... Until next time, Roxstars.